What's going on, guys? In today's project, we're talking about a really well-loved pair of Rocky Rider boots. Now, if we take a close look at these, they're extremely worn. The leather's tired, it's really cracking in certain areas, we've got some sole separation, and the heels here, they've been repaired a couple of times before. But for this project, we're going to be completely stripping these guys apart, right down to the bare bones, and rebuilding them back up with some nice fresh materials. We're going to get some conditioning and cleaning back into these uppers, get them looking fresh, and ready for round 2 of their life. So join us today, see how it turns out. So now it's time for the breakdown process on these Rocky boots. First time having them on the channel, and actually the first pair of Rocky boots that I've ever worked on. I'm not familiar with the brand, so I'm quite interested to see what kind of materials and construction methods they've used to create these boots. So we're going to be stripping these guys completely apart, right down to the bones, and rebuilding them back up with some fresh materials. So guys, join us today for the full Rocky rebuild. So I've had a little look around these boots, and essentially all they are is a glued down construction. So it's going to be a pretty easy breakdown process on these. We're just going to take our nippers here and peel the sole apart. Take it off nice and slowly as not to rip any of the upper leather. There's a few cracks on the side there of just wear and tear, but some cream is going to really solve that issue and get some suppleness back into those uppers when the time comes. So we've got our shank in here, and unfortunately it's cracked, so we're going to be replacing that with something new. Alright, so that's our boots completely stripped down, removed all the materials we need to remove from them. So let's take a look at what's going on the inside here. So first look on the inside, we've got a lot of separation from the uppers and the actual footbed here. Underneath here we have a full waterproof lining, and the uppers come down and close that in place. So we're just going to pop in some glue in the areas that are coming away, and we'll get these guys rebuilt back up. Now, because these uppers are super old and really worn, we're going to add some conditioning and polishing back into these, get some nutrients that have been lost back into the leather here. Now this is the best time to do it when all the soles are off, because you can get right into the welt area, which would be really hard to get to when all the soles and welts were on. So we're just going to strip these guys down and get them conditioned up. So we've got some saddle soap here. Apply a little bit of water to that. Apply that to the brush, and we're just going to brush this into the leather and really let it soak in and clean up all that dirt off of there as well. Okay, so that's the saddle soap soaked in, brushed off. We're going to add in some Saphir Universal Cream. This is going to really add a lot of conditioning back into these worn out uppers. So that's them all cleaned up, nourished and protected, and I'd have to say that the patina that's coming out of these is really, really nice. Love the dark spots and the light spots. Just adds so much extra character to the boots. So let's get these guys rebuilt. So now we're going to get this fake welt attached to the boot. So we're just going to start on the inside here of the boot and just work our way around and replace where the old one was. Okay, so now we're going to prepare the boots for some stitching. We're going to use our groover tool here, and we're going to groove a channel all around the sole there, and that's going to allow the stitches just to lie in, and it's going to give us a little bit of a guide to follow around on the machine. Okay, so now we're going to be using what's called a Blake stitching machine to stitch these soles on. Now these go through the actual footbed from the inside of the boot, and they'll go right out to the outsole there. So we're just going to double check and make sure we've got enough thread in the bobbin here. Yep, we're spot on. Always like to check that just before we get started, as not to cause any issues going ahead. So we're just going to pop our boot through onto here. Let's get to stitching. Alright guys, so that's completely done with this week's project. These Rocky boots came into the shop looking pretty trashed, but I have to say, now they're leaving the shop looking super, super fresh. So as always guys, thank you so much for dropping by, hitting up the likes, the comments and the subscribing. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So I guess until next week, I've been Cobbler G, you've been Legends. A peace out guys.